what's up? Welcome back to Light from Mars. Today I am very excited because I'm going to be talking about a super creepy topic. This topic is just truly so unusual and unsettling and unexplainable. It's crazy to think that this is actually happening out there. Today we are going to be talking about the phenomena of black-eyed children. Today I am back with more paranormal content, and I'm going to be talking about something super creepy, super unsettling, super strange, and very unexplainable, and that is black-eyed children. Not only am I going to tell you guys all of the crazy details that you guys need to know about this insane topic, the black-eyed children, but I am also going to be doing a live makeup look while I tell you guys a story inspired by what I'm talking about and inspired by the phenomena itself. So if you like beauty, if you like makeup, and you also like spooky vibes, you like creepiness, you like the mysteries in life, you're gonna love this video. It's about to get real spooky. Okay, I'm serious. Like, I'm not even overhyping this topic. It's honestly super weird, and I'm not gonna lie, ever since I found out about this black-eyed children thing, it's just always kind of in the back of my mind. I'm going to get out my makeup, I'm gonna get out my makeup bag, I'm gonna start doing my look, and I'm going to start telling you guys about this crazy thing that's going on the planet right now. So, as I'm sure you guys can assume, black-eyed children is all about black-eyed children. So more specifically, it is pretty much this phenomena where a bunch of people have had all of these insane experiences and very creepy experiences with a bunch of children. So all of the reported sightings of the black-eyed children have pretty much been children between 6 to 16 years old. However, most of the time they are children between about 10 to 13 years old. They often appear to people at night, but not always. Almost all the time they have very pale skin, and they look just, you know, sort of like dead and ghost-like. These kids also tend to have very monotone voices. Everyone that's ever interacted with one of these children, that's definitely one of the defining things that they will tell you, is that these children have voices that just have no emotion, almost like they're just reciting something that's like programmed into their mind, like a robot or something, you know? There's no actual depth behind their words. Some of them are reported to be completely hairless, so it's just like this little kid that's all creepy and pale, just with no eyebrows and no hair. And another really big thing is that these kids are often wearing clothes that are completely out of place in context of the environment that they're in. So I'm talking like it'll be snowing outside and the children or child will be wearing shorts and a short sleeve shirt. Or reverse, it's the middle of summer and the child is wearing like, you know, heavy jacket, or just weird things that don't really make sense. Also, they might not look like they're out of the right time period, so their clothes might look super old, like they're from like the 60s or something, and it just doesn't kind of make sense that a child right now in the 21st century would even be wearing something like that. And of course, the absolute biggest thing between all of these children, and the reason that they even have the name black-eyed children, is of course the fact that they have black eyes. People basically describe it as it doesn't even look like they're black, but it just looks like there's just a void. Like there's no light reflecting out of them. Like it's just a black hole. Can you imagine that, guys? So basically, people all over the country have been seeing these children and having extremely weird encounters with them. I mean, can you imagine seeing a kid or a group of kids that are just like preteens that are super pale, hairless, wearing super strange clothes with pitch black freaking black hole eyes just appearing out of nowhere? I don't know, it's obviously just kind of weird, you know? So usually the stories that you hear with these black-eyed children are that they approach people at their cars or at their homes. So sometimes they'll be out in the parking lot waiting at your car, or just randomly appear on a sidewalk or at a street, or they might even knock on your door or ring your doorbell or something like that. So most of the times the reports that have been shared of people having experiences with the black-eyed children are typically in those kinds of situations. So these children are not only just creepy and really weird. When they appear to people, they don't just stand there, they actually approach them, and usually they're asking for something. They usually say things that are just super weird that automatically just put people kind of in a weird place. That is one of the biggest things with these appearances, is that people oftentimes just feel like this immediate sense of dread as soon as they see these children. It's just like they get that pit feeling in their stomach that something is wrong. And as soon as these children start talking, that becomes even more obvious that this is not just a normal child. They'll just knock on somebody's door and then just say, oh, we were just in the neighborhood. We just thought we'd stop in for a while. Or, can I use your telegraph? Just these random children with black eyes that they don't even know. Usually they have their heads down when they first have an encounter with somebody, just to kind of get their way in and try to do some smooth talking and get some sympathy points for, I guess, being a child, obviously, you know, and being alone. And they also typically approach adults when they are alone. In some of the cases, there's other children involved, but it almost never happens with more than one adult present. Now, that does have some exceptions, but I'll get into that later. One of the really strange things about all of these sightings is that there doesn't really seem to be any consistent pattern with who these children appear to. The only slight pattern that you can see between all of these supposed sightings is that they tend to appear a lot for some reason to authority figures, so to judges or military or police officers or people like that. And obviously the biggest question about the black-eyed children is what they are, where they're from, or what they're trying to do. That is definitely the biggest question. There's definitely been a lot of sightings and a lot of crazy, insane stories, but there's absolutely no answers about what the children could be. There's definitely theories. Some people think that the children might be demons. Some people say that they're UFOs. Other people think that they might be ghosts. I mean, there's just really no answer, but it's very obvious that this is something that is just beyond a prank or a normal child. There's been so many sightings that it just goes beyond any obvious explanation. So now that you guys know sort of the basics about this phenomena, understand that these children are appearing to people, I want to tell you guys some of the actual crazy stories that people have reported. So let me just start by saying there is a lot of stories, and it was honestly difficult to comb through them all and find the scariest ones, but that's exactly what I did. I literally listened to so many YouTube channels talking about it, people reporting sightings. I went through Reddit boards, I went through so many different sources to really try to find the craziest sightings, the most insane reported incidences that have happened, and that is what I want to really share with you guys. The first widely reported encounter with a black-eyed child happened in 1996, but it really didn't actually circulate until 1998, and no one actually knows for sure if this was the real first sighting of black-eyed children or if this was just the first time somebody actually made it to the news and it was more widely reported. It all started with a man named Bryan Breville. Bryan ran a ghost-related mailing list and sent out a story of his experience to all of his followers. He reported that he had an encounter with, quote, damn black-eyed children outside of a movie theater in Abilene, Texas. They approached his car window and they started asking him for a ride. Bryan had just left a movie when he was first approached by the children. Then they started mentioning something about wanting to watch the next movie, which really threw Bryan off because he knew that the only movie left to play for the night had already started. The whole time that he had been talking to them, the kids had their faces down, and so he could not see their eyes. But finally they looked up and he looked at them and saw that their eyes were pure black. He freaked out so badly that he just sped out of the parking lot, and when he was about to leave, he looked back and the kids were gone. In this same account, Bryan also said that he knew somebody else who had a very similar encounter in Portland, Oregon. So in 2013, this story that Bryan had sent in 1998 actually went viral because it was posted in an MSN article. That really just busted open a huge conversation about this phenomena, and suddenly there were so many stories pouring in of people who had similar encounters, and now there's countless reports and even a famous book written by David Weatherly. Another one of the most insane stories that I came across was about a woman who had a sighting at a convenience store. So this woman had gone to the convenience store with her 10-year-old son. The woman needed to grab something quickly from the convenience store, so she decided to just leave her 10-year-old son in the car. So she goes inside to get her things, she comes back outside, opens the door, throws the bag on the seat, and looks into the rear view mirror. She is shocked to find that there is a little boy sitting in the middle seat next to her son who had pure black eyes. The lady instinctually freaks out. She knew something was very wrong as soon as she saw the little boy's eyes. So she runs out of the car, grabs her son, and runs back into the store not knowing what else to do. She's in the store and she's just freaking out, telling the clerk that something was wrong, that somebody was in the car with her son. And so the clerk runs back out to try to see what was going on, and they look in the back of the car and no one was there. So this lady was freaked out and she did not know what was going on. All she knew is that she did not want to drive her car back home. So she called her husband and she didn't even tell him what had happened, but she just told him to please just come pick her up so that they could switch cars and that so he could drive that car home. On the way home, the husband experiences a wreck and totals his car. So he ends up in the hospital, but thankfully with fairly minor injuries. However, he has no memory of what happened. All that he remembers is that he started smelling this crazy foul odor and then he crashed. The lady says that she doesn't remember a foul odor, but this is experienced by some people with these black-eyed children sightings. So the woman ends up talking to her son about it and asking him, why did you let this little boy into the car? What happened? He confirmed to them that he had no idea who this little boy was and that the only reason that he had let him in is that he thought they could play. So this little boy actually later ended up becoming severely ill. The weirdest thing about this was that his symptoms kept changing and the doctors never knew what was wrong with him. This went on for a while and they had no idea what was wrong with this kid. Eventually the parents just started having prayer vigils for him and they became super spiritual, and finally after a long time of doing that, the child finally got better and his mysterious symptoms just went away. Another story is about a guy in London who was at his flat. He's upstairs in this building that has a security code to even get into the building, and he hears a knock at his door. When he answers the door, there's 2 children there. So this guy is already puzzled even just upon opening the door because he does not understand who these children are or how they even got into the building in the first place. So these children just keep insisting to come in. They just keep asking him, please, can we please come in? And in the back of his mind, he just keeps thinking that there's something wrong. Oh, that sent the guy spiraling and he freaked out and slammed the door. And as soon as he did that, here's this really weird popping sound. And so he opens the door and he looks out and the children are again completely vanished. This man also claims that he heard a similar popping sound before the children arrived. Some people think that they sort of make this noise when they arrive and when they leave. And guys, just in case some black-eyed children were not enough to give you nightmares and, you know, just freak you the fuck out, guess what? There's also been sightings of black-eyed adults. Yeah, I'm talking adults with black eyes without any children. One of the absolute craziest stories comes from an encounter that this one family had with a black-eyed man. So this woman was with her husband and her 2 kids at a shopping mall. While they're looking around at things, they notice that there's a strange man staring at them. Suddenly, the man approaches them and comments on how cute the children are. He asks how old they are and seemed very eager to keep the conversation going, was being very friendly. And at this point, the parents are talking to the man, but they are very thrown off by something very weird about this man. He had pitch black eyes, just like the children. He told them that his wife and young son had just moved from out of state. He started asking them all sorts of questions about themselves. He wanted to know if they lived close by, to know their occupations, their names, if they had social media. The woman was wearing a cross necklace and he commented on it saying, "I noticed your necklace. Do you go to church around here?" During the entire exchange, these people were really uncomfortable and they were really just getting a really creepy vibe from this guy. Finally, they were able to get away from him, and just a few minutes later, the man leaves the store without buying anything. About 20 minutes later, they receive a friend request from this guy and his wife. Obviously, they were still really freaked out by the encounter and they did not accept the request. The profile was super plain and they noticed that it wasn't even a week old. There was only a couple of photos and pretty much no information on the account. 2 weeks after this, the same family enters the grocery store. As they began approaching, they noticed that the exact same man is there at the entrance. Except this time he was speaking to another couple, also with 2 small children. And staring at him, they suddenly accidentally made eye contact with him. And out of nowhere, he stopped in the middle of his conversation with these people and completely walked away in the opposite direction all the way to the exit, again without buying anything. After this encounter, these people were seriously actually scared. However, unfortunately for the family, this was not the end of their experience. A few months had passed since their second view of the man, and they had not seen him at all again. However, one day while the family was at a toy store, they saw a different man. The man was clearly a different person. But again, he was acting super strange, and the first thing that they noticed is that he was staring at the children. Then it started to get crazy. Just like the other man, he approached them and commented on how cute the children were. He asked how old they were, said he couldn't wait to have kids and that he was buying something for his nephew. He said he was not from the area and that he had just moved there. And again, he asked if they lived nearby and he wanted to know their names and their jobs. But the real kicker did not come until this man said to the woman, "I noticed your necklace. Do you go to church around here?" So that was enough to trigger the couple, and they immediately walked straight away from this man. This was just beyond coincidence, and it obviously freaked them the fuck out because they were already freaked out from all of these other encounters. And again, eventually they saw him leave without buying anything. Yeah, guys, that is the black-eyed children / black-eyed adult phenomena. Now, I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit about some possible theories and some possible things that people have suggested about what this phenomena could possibly be caused by, or what these children / also adults could possibly even be. A possible origin of these black-eyed children may be found in the ancient idea of the Octon that originated from the Iroquois Native Americans. So pretty much the Iroquois had this idea of this thing called the Octon. Octon was pretty much a broad term for negative energy. Any type of negative energy, thing, being, or force. The Octon was said to live in the world around us, but also try to penetrate this world from other realms, the underworld, other dimensions, the sky, etc. It was also said to be able to exist in different realms of consciousness and reality itself. Octon was considered by the Iroquois to be a very evil energy that had the power to possess, destroy, and could be focused as a weapon against people and things. So the personification of Octon was basically this dark Satan-like being. Some said took the form of a reptilian snake man. It was said that the evil-minded one was trying to manifest itself in human form and would often try to breed with unknowing Iroquois women. The result of this union was a possessed child with chalky pale skin and black eyes. Whenever a black-eyed child was born, it was usually killed and then burned to prevent resurrection. Apparently, any unlucky Iroquois children who would just find themselves alone in the woods would be prey to the evil-minded one. Easy targets for this entity to project onto. And so these kids would emerge from the forest again and they would have black eyes. Their regular eyes were completely gone and just replaced with pitch black. It was said that when that happened, the evil-minded one took their life force, their positive divine energy, and replaced it with the Octon. They were now his servants to do his bidding. These black-eyed children were said to act very strangely, and one of their main goals was to infect other children. They often repeated themselves and would pace around nervously. These children wreaked havoc on the tribes, and so their ultimate goal became to defeat the Octon. Another possible theory is that the children are somehow a form of jinn. The idea of the jinn actually comes from the Quran, and honestly, I'll probably end up making a whole video just about this alone. But essentially, it's sort of like demons in Islam. The jinn were said to be created along human and angels, and so again, they were sort of the antithesis to an angel, the opposite of something really good and pure and divine. In fact, the jinn is actually the idea of where the Western genie comes from. It is believed that these jinn come from other dimensions, that they can take various forms to manipulate people, including maybe a child. People have been known to try to trap jinn in various objects, which is where the idea of the genie in the lamp comes from. People would try to get jinn to possess certain objects and try to use them for their own bidding. However, this is obviously not a Disney movie and has backfired a lot of times. So some people believe that maybe these black-eyed children and adults are a form of jinn. Other people believe that these black-eyed beings are somehow a form of hungry ghost. The idea of a hungry ghost actually comes from Asia. Basically, it's this idea that people who are eager to rectify something that happened in their life will return to life but altered in some way. And in fact, there has been multiple sightings of black-eyed children in Japan, one of the main countries where this belief is held. And like I said in the beginning, some people think that these black-eyed beings are some kind of alien or something. Obviously, there's unfortunately not really a way to know for sure at all what these things are. People have reported sightings from all around the world, and although the first official sighting or recorded sighting happened in 1996, stories like the one from the Iroquois tribe make it obvious that this is not the first time that humans have interacted with these things with black eyes. Now, I just want to say that I know that this is a super creepy topic, and I don't want you guys to think that you're just going to be running into some black-eyed children, but just in case, I think that it's worth knowing. The main thing is that you just do not want to ever let them into your house or let them into your car or whatever it is that they're asking you. From people who have actually reported to have these experiences, bad things really seem to happen when people do let them in. Just like the woman who had the black-eyed child in the back of her car and her son got all sick and her husband got in a car accident. Weird things seem to happen like that to people who actually give into the children. That is why it's so important, really with anything, guys, not just the black-eyed children, to really trust your instinct. The main characteristics of these black-eyed children is that they make people feel a sense of dread, a sense of uncomfortability, like something is wrong. It is very obvious that something is out there, whatever it is. And it is a thing in so many different indigenous communities, from Native Americans to all sorts of indigenous communities around the world. You hear similar things like, don't trust that things are exactly the way you think they are, because so many different cultures have these ideas of these things that can take different forms, that can manifest in our physical world to trick us. And that is a huge thing that you hear with the black-eyed children, with the jinn, and tons of other entities who have different names and are expressed differently by different cultures, but seem to describe kind of the same thing. Personally, I honestly do think that the black-eyed children are some sort of interdimensional phenomena, some sort of really just yin to the yang, you know, just some sort of really high, powerful, low frequency vibration that is existing, whether actually here in our physical world or in another dimension or sort of alongside us, or I really do not know, guys. Straight up, I have no idea. This is one of those things that is just truly so wild that it just does not even sound real. And then you start looking into it and you realize how many people have reported that they've seen it, and it just doesn't seem even possible that it's not real. I think the biggest thing when it comes to any of these supernatural things, guys, is that honestly, it's better not to focus, I think, on what it really necessarily is, rather than focusing on the energy behind it and trying to combat that with your own energy. So for me, it's all about like maintaining your own presence as a positive being and being confident in that, and not giving into another entity and letting it bring you down to a low vibration. Because the thing is, guys, fear is a low vibration, and so when you are in a state of fear, you are more vulnerable. Your energy is way less powerful than if you are maintaining a really good vibe and not letting yourself get afraid. And so obviously I know it's easier said than done, right? Like, I can't say that if I ran into a black-eyed child, I'd just be like, oh, hey girl, what's up? Or that I'd be like, oh, I know you lied. Not today, Satan. You know what I mean? Like, obviously not. I would even probably be afraid. But really, that is the only thing, is like, it's all about trying to maintain your own energy and saying like, I am a strong being, and honestly, I'm not going to have any interactions with these things. Or maybe you will. I mean, if you want to, you very well may manifest it. But yeah, guys, this is an absolutely crazy phenomena. Like I said, there are so many other stories, so I would definitely encourage you guys to look into it. There's so many different podcasts. Like I said, there's actually a book by David Weatherly, and so he has done a lot of interviews on the topic as well, and he's done extensive research on this, so he can go on and on about different stories and different appearances that have occurred. So I will actually link some podcasts down below so you guys can listen to them that are on YouTube, just so you guys can hear a little more if you guys are interested. Obviously, I also completed this lovely Black Eyed Children inspired look, I guess if you could call that lovely, trying to find artwork in the crazy, unexplained mysteriousness that is Black Eyed Children. I really hope you guys liked this video format. I really enjoyed filming it for you guys. I think that I am going to change real quick, kind of complete this look a little bit, and I will come back to the camera to show you guys the very final look and send you off. So yeah, be right back. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. Yes, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this video about the Black Eyed Children. It is an absolutely crazy topic, and I would love to hear you guys' theories on what this is, what is going on with these children, with these adults, like what do you guys think is happening? Please let me know down below in the comments. And of course, please do not forget to subscribe. I so appreciate each and every one of you. I release new videos every single Friday and sometimes in between. I think that I'm gonna do some more paranormal videos, so if you guys have any topics that you want me to talk about, if you have any suggestions, please also let me know down in the comments, okay? Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining me on this journey of a video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye!